Chuck, I love CD Lamb this week, just for you, by the way. We'll take the Cowboys -4, 28-19. This is for ball game. Packers at the Bears. Packers -4.5. Love the Packers, big man. Apologize.
I don't blame it. I don't blame it.
Last time these guys played, Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns. He loves the Bears. It's a big game. They're only up 1 game, ball game. This is big.
Thanks, man.
Last one, Chiefs at Washington, -6.5. All game, you hit it right on the head. You just go back and just watch that segment. Love the Chiefs. Love the Chiefs. A lot of scoring in this, but I think the Chiefs, they're not going to lose 2 in a row.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Island, and look, it's just me and Johnny Ballgame.
Where'd everybody go?
I don't know. We've got some no-shows today, but we've done this before. We can handle it, right, John?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We got no problem. All right, guys, I just wanted to say, first off to the top, thank you for your support. Our channel continues to grow, and that's because you guys are hitting that like button. You guys are subscribing. You're hitting that notification bell, so you're checking in every week when we post these videos. We can't thank you enough. We want to keep it going. Again, very, very much thankful for you guys out there who smashed that like button. Thank you so much. All right, now, on to more pressing matters. So, Johnny Ballgame, today you have a rant. You have a Johnny rant. I want to hear what's on your mind, brother.
I got 2 things I want to talk about. The first is, who's not doing a PPR league these days? Who says, I know the NFL passes 70 to 80% of the time, but I don't think people should get credit for that whenever they get a reception. Who in their right mind signs up for that league every year? I get it. If you were an old school traditionalist and you started out in a league and it was like, we're not doing PPR with this stuff, we run running backs who can run. It's a different day and age. So those of you in a league that don't do, like, I'm so surprised when I'm listening to these fantasy shows and they're giving advice, and the first question I ask somebody is this a PPR league or a non-PPR league? The answer should always be PPR league. We shouldn't ever ask that question again, because the ridiculousness of anybody in a league where your high score is 8, stop right now. We can't do this anymore. I want outlawed. I want non-PPR leagues outlawed and wiped off the face of the earth. That's what I want to say.
That's good, because I have a Reaper rant, and I'm going to tag team what you just said. So, yeah, there's a lot of leagues out there that don't play using the PPR, which is ridiculous. I agree. But how about the leagues that use the standard quarterback scoring that all these leagues seem to have, where the quarterback gets picked in the 4th or 5th round? Those are the first quarterbacks going off the board. In the NFL, quarterbacks are your most important position. You need to have a great quarterback if you want to get to that Super Bowl. In fantasy football, the quarterback should be your most scoring position. And if it's not, you need to fix that. And that's what we've done in all our leagues across the board. The quarterbacks get points for completions. They take away points for incompletions. So efficiency matters. You get bonus points for 300 yards, 400 yards. You get 6 points for a touchdown, not 4. Your quarterbacks need to score. They get more important, and then you have to draft them earlier. It makes sense, right, John?
Not only do they get 6 points for touchdown, the longer the touchdown, the more points you get, which I like that too. So I am totally with you. I do not get the leagues where I look at our quarterback scores and we're like, oh, this is a great day. And then I go to my Yahoo league or whatever, and it's like, how did he get 18? I've got him for 51 over here. It's like, it's insane. I'm totally with you. It's the best position in the league. It's the most important position in the league. It should be the most important scoring position in fantasy. I will back you up 100%.
All right, and I know you got a second rant, so
Yes. Let's talk about a head-to-head only league, which is most leagues, it seems like. Most leagues are head-to-head only, which means any given week you can score 180 points and still lose in a head-to-head because someone else scores 181 points. Now, you might have had the second most points in the league that week at 180 points, but it doesn't matter. You still take a loss because someone scored 181 points. Meanwhile, over here, Tommy No Team scores 120 and his foe happens to score only 98. And guess what? Tommy gets a win. You get a loss at 180 points. What are we doing? Do like our league. It's mostly about the points. Now we have a small head-to-head component because some people do like that. And it's kind of enjoyable to rib your friends and all that stuff, but it's not the main component of your league. So you get rewarded if you're good in head-to-head, you get rewarded even more for bigger points. And so the first, second, and third are always in the money. Those are always money points. And then you let your head-to-head folks battle it out for a small fraction of that. And then we even do cool things to keep people interested at the end of the year where we give money for the high score of the week. In the last, was it like 4 or 5 weeks? Chuckles?
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. I just don't understand the all head-to-head. And for those of you, I'm going to stop you right now because some of you are going to make comments. Some of you are going to come at me. You're going to text me. You're going to tweet me. And you're going to say, well, in regular football games, it's just about wins and losses. Yeah, well, in regular football games, you don't take people from each team and make up your own team. So stop with that. Let's just play fantasy football for what it is. It's a point thing. You got to get more points. If you didn't care about points, we wouldn't give people points. We wouldn't be playing this game. Stop with the only head-to-head.
Also, let me interject there, Johnny. So when you play someone head-to-head, like I'm playing you, I don't have an opportunity to defend against you. There's nothing I can do to stop you from what you do. So let's throw that out the window. Stop with that crap. But the other thing that drives me nuts is how many times, John, have you or I seen a team that scored maybe the most points in the league or the second most points in the league and don't make the playoffs because their head-to-head record sucked just because of pure luck?
Happened in our league just last year.
Yeah.
Last year.
It happens every year. It's ridiculous. The way you should do it is total points, have a little side head-to-head component, maybe 25% of the pot, and the rest goes to the total points because the total points really defines the team that managed the team the best, had the best roster, usually the best draft, so forth.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And I think you and I basically should now run the leagues for the entire country. I think is what we've just come up with. For a small fee, we will give you a system. We'll tell you exactly how to run it, and then you guys can go run it.
Exactly. We just started a new business. If you need 2 commissioners to run your leagues for you and do it the right way, you contact Johnny Ballgame or the Fantasy Reaper, and we'll handle it for you for a small fee. Right, John?
Commissioner consultants. That's what we'll be. We're your consigliaries. We'll help you get it up and running, and then we'll teach you how to manage it, and then we'll move on with our lives. Boom.
Boom. Rant over. All right. Now that we got that off our chest, we can move on with the show. Now, I don't have Tony here to have a little standoff with on the fantasy nicknames, but I still came up with a few for me, John, and you can laugh or not laugh.
I can't wait.
I want to start with the turds. How about Miles' gastrointestinal disease?
Nice. Wow, medical on us. Didn't see that coming.
I went MD on you guys on that one. How about Zach Nomas?
Nah, that's perfect.
He came up a little small last night.
Yeah.
How about Waste Claypool?
There might not be a more appropriate name in the league this year. Yes, that's my winner so far. Keep going.
How about Kenny Holiday? Since he didn't even want to show up to play.
Sounds about right.
All right, and now I have some good ones. All right, this is for the people that actually came through. How about Numeric Henry? Because that boy put some numbers.
I like that.
All right, how about CD Bam?
Man, you've been waiting on that one. Oh, a year.
I've had that one in my back pocket since week 1. Come on.
Just been waiting for him to actually live up to it.
How about James Robin Hood? Because he's saving the day for the Jags.
Nice. I was going to go with James Robin Yard.
There you go.
Robin Yardage all day.
Yeah. I like that. How about Jalen Waffle? Dude sucks 1 week, comes back with 10 catches the next. He's a waffler.
He's a waffler. Nice.
And I think I got one more. How about Berserk Cousins?
Nice.
That fourth quarter, that little
nuts.
drive for the field goal to tie it, and then the overtime touchdown. His numbers were mediocre before that, and then he actually had a great week. So, all right.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he like the #1 fantasy quarterback this week?
Probably Josh Allen,
people had one.
but he was up there. He was top 5.
Actually, Dak got Josh by a point.
There you go. So Dak and Josh were the top 2. All right. Yeah. Enough of the nicknames. That was fun. Are you ready to go on with the show, Johnny?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, here we go.
News and notes around the NFL.
First segment, news and notes around the NFL. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns. Good Lord, they're falling apart. Baker Mayfield aggravated his shoulder, and even though he says he's playing, he did seek a second opinion, and there is a possibility that they could shut him down. But for now, he's playing. Kareem Hunt injured his calf, could miss a month or longer. We already know Nick Chubb already injured his calf, and they're saying
out for this week.
He's going to be out for Thursday, so maybe next week. We'll see. And then there's also OBJ injured his shoulder, and we're not sure how long he's going to be out. And we're hoping that his wide receiver mate on the other side, Jarvis Landry, might play this week. It sounds more like it might be another week. Well, okay. Are the Browns in massive trouble here, John?
Yeah, sticking with your nicknames, it should be the Cleveland Going Downs, because everybody keeps going down every single play. They're in huge trouble. They're going to be able to keep up in that division with the Bengals and Ravens doing what they're doing. You got to hand it to Baker. He pops the shoulder back in, comes in and plays. It was a hellacious Hail Mary. I mean, he's a tough bastard, but no, I mean, he doesn't have his top 2 wide receivers. He doesn't have his top 2 running backs. His tight ends off and on. It's a mess. It's a mess.
I agree. I think they're in big trouble. They're going to start probably one of the 2 running backs there, Demetric Felton and Dearness Johnson. I think Dearness will probably get the start, but we'll discuss that scenario in a little bit. But I just want to say that without Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt's not the same. Without Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, the Browns aren't the same. And when they're all injured like they are now, they are a mess. Even their defense can't keep up.
Yeah, if you're looking for one of those running backs to save your fantasy week, I get it. It's a big off week, and the pickings are slim out there. Dearness is not your dude. Demetric is not your dude. And like I said, we'll probably talk about them in a little bit. But man, that's slim pickings on the Browns. Listen, I got burned with the Broncos defense last week. Probably going to play them this week. They're playing the Browns on Thursday night.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, some more injury news. Dawson Knox actually played with a stress fracture in his hand that he had happened to him against the Titans last night. But with the bye week coming up, they're saying he probably won't miss any time. I find that a little hard to believe. It's hard to catch with especially a Josh Allen laser beam with a broken hand, but we'll see. Do you think Dawson Knox will miss any time?
Stress fractures are funny, man. They do heal up pretty quick. They do have a week off. I think they'll give him, as much painkillers as they can. I mean, the guy completed a pass while his hand was broken, shot putted it, and got a 2-point conversion. So I'm not putting anything past him. I think he's a really great tight end and an up-and-coming star. So if he misses time, it'll maybe be a game. They'll probably put a hand cast on it, but I think he'll still be able to catch.
Yeah, I think it'll affect his play overall, though. I think his numbers will go down a little bit. He's still going to play.
He's got really great hands is the problem, right? So he catches the ball really well. And when you put a cast on that is a little different. So he doesn't normally, if you look at most of his catches, they're not body catches. which with a cast wouldn't bother you as bad if their body catches because you can wrap it around. He catches with his hands, which is fantastic. It's what he should do. It might affect him a little bit in this, but I don't think his performance will go down that much, but I do think he'll take a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, I agree. All right, more injury news. A lot of it this week. Dak injured his calf towards the end of that game, limped off. Latavius Murray sprained his ankle. He's questionable to play this week. Antonio Gibson couldn't finish the game with his fractured shin. Paris Campbell re-injured his foot, and it probably cost him most of the season like it did last year. Man, the injuries are brutal. On top of that, it's a bye week. Like, a lot of teams are on bye this week, 6 teams. And I'm just going to list off those guys that aren't playing this week. Listen to this list. If you have these guys, they are not playing this week. Okay, here we go. We have no Josh Allen, no Dak, no Cousins, no Roethlisberger, no Sherbert, no Zeke, no Dalvin, no Najee, no Eckler, no Robinson from the Jags, no Diggs, no Sanders, no Amari, no Cookie Monster, no Mike Williams, no Keenan, no Jefferson, no Thielen, no Claypool, no Deontay, no Dawson Knox, who's also on a bye, and no Dalton Schultz. Man, that is wicked.
That's rough. That's
that is rough. So it's going to be a waiver wire bonanza this week. I think a lot of people will be reaching for those Cleveland Browns running back.
They'll be reaching for sure, and they'll be picking up people you've never even heard of going, I heard they were a quarterback in high school, so they might play.
Yeah. All right, on to the next story. Oh, Henry. Derrick Henry goes nuts. 20 carries, 143 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also added 2 catches for 12 yards. Basically carried the Titans to that victory last night. Henry's on pace, get this, for 2,218 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns. Are we witnessing one of the greatest fantasy football seasons of all time for a running back?
Yeah. Not merely because of what he's doing this year, but this is on top of having a 2,000-yard season last year. And we all know nobody's ever come within 500 yards of doing 2,000-yard seasons. Derrick Henry is on pace to do that, like you just said, but he might break Eric Dickerson's record without the extra game if he continues doing what he's doing right now. And a lot of people say, well, Eric Dickerson's record is going to fall now because, they get that extra game. I think he'll do it in the 16 games. That guy's a monster. And you saw last night, the speed for a 250-pound dude and got up to, 21 or 22 miles per hour, the fastest in the league this year. I've never seen anything like it. Walter Payton is my favorite running back of all time. And I'm starting to think Derrick Henry might be my second favorite of all time. And that's saying something because I love me some Barry Sanders and gosh, just so many great running backs.
Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
LaDainian Tomlinson. This guy's on that list, man. This guy is ridiculous. And he did it against the freaking Bills last night. The Bills have been the stingiest defense in fantasy football. And he lit them up and basically put them on their shoulders. And
they hadn't allowed 50 yards to a running back yet this year.
It's unbelievable what he's doing. His schedule's going to get easier coming up here. This guy's averaging 130 yards a game rushing. The man is a beast. That includes his dud in week 1?
Week 1.
He played, he had a dud. He only had like 50 yards rushing. Right. He got way behind and the game script went away from him. And ever since then, he's been on an absolute tear. The guy's incredible. All right. The Seahawks are reportedly talking to Cam Newton. Is this the return of the Mac?
No.
Is this the return of the Cam?
No, I don't think it's the return of the Mac there. But something interesting did happen. Cam got his vaccination. And that's a big deal because now he's letting everybody know I'm ready to play. I don't think he'll go to Seattle. I think, Russ has only got a couple more weeks to be out. It just doesn't make sense to bring him in and then have him back up Russ. That doesn't make any sense. I think they'll try to ride it out with Geno. Geno wasn't horrible. It just every now and then you went, oh, that's right. That's Geno. Now I remember why you're not the starter anymore. He wasn't horrible, but the defense was just all over him, and they weren't giving him any time with the line. So The only way that they bring Cam in is if they decide we're going to shut Russ down because we don't think we're going to make the playoffs this year.
Bingo. And that's why I think the Russ injury is not going to be a 3 or 4 week injury like some people think. If they're taking a look at Cam Newton, it's probably a 7 to 8 week injury for Russ. And there's probably, like you said, that possibility. If they're like 2 and 8 or whatever, when Russ is ready to come back, they might just shut him down.
Yeah, that's possible. So, all right. So then I will put a caveat. If they shut Russ down, then yeah, they'll probably bring in Cam because they're not going to ride the whole year with Gino.
Honestly, though, I hope they don't. I hate Cam Newton. I think he's a joke. I think he's a bad quarterback. And I don't care if he got the vaccine or not. That doesn't change the fact that you suck at football, and we have to watch you in your stupid clothes after the game and your dumbass interviews and your whiny bitch ass. Nobody wants to see that. Just move on. I mean, if I had my Fantasy Reaper costume on right now, I'd be taking Cam Newton out with me.
This has been a mini rant by Chuck.
My second mini rant. All right. Moving on.
Fantasy Heroes and Zeros.
All right. Fantasy Heroes and Fantasy Zeros. And today, obviously, it's just the two of us. Tony was kind enough to call in his Fantasy Heroes and Zeros, so I will reveal them for us. Royce was not. He's busy, so both of them will be back next week, though, just so you guys know. But let's just go with what we got here and start with John. You had a fantasy hero at quarterback. Who is your man?
I got to tell you, I mean, they didn't win the game, so it's hard to say he's a fantasy hero from that standpoint. But he's a fantasy hero in fantasy football, and that was Teddy Bridgewater. Came back strong, had a couple real lackluster performances. And this time in our league, he was an over 50-yard quarterback this week, and that was pretty damn good. That was good enough for like 5th or 6th quarterback. So put him back up there. I thought he looked good. He's hitting his receivers, and I'll talk about one of those receivers here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, so Teddy definitely came through. Obviously, my fantasy hero, even though he stumbled at the line and couldn't get that 1 inch that they needed to win last night, Josh Allen was my fantasy hero. Dude goes 34 47 for 353, 3 more passing touchdowns, did have a pick, but added 26 yards rushing to offset that. The man is a beast. He dove for the first down at the end of the game and like went head over heels, putting out all-out effort there. You and I can argue about this. I thought he got it. You said he was short. Nevertheless, yeah, either way, the man is just on fire right now. Ever since I traded for him, I couldn't be happier. This guy is he's lights out. He's amazing. He's got a laser arm. He's super accurate. What can you say? What can you say? All right. So Tony's hero was a running back, and he liked Joe Mixon this week. Joe came through for him.
Joey Mix.
Good old bro Mixon. Did you watch that game?
I did watch a little bit of it. It wasn't on where I was. I just watched it on Red Zone whenever they came around.
Bengals played well. Joe Mixon caught a screen pass, took it about 40 yards for a touchdown. That was nice. Very nice. So I can see why you would be his hero. Yeah. All right, John, you're coming back with a wide receiver. Who you got?
Same game, same team. Cortland Sutton. The last 3 out of 4 weeks, he's had double-digit targets, double-digit receptions. This week, he had 8 receptions on 10 targets, 94 yards, and he got the Teddy, the one we need. In an otherwise bleak sort of week, especially for my team, I'm starting to really rely on Sutton as my every week guy, right? Like I'm almost to not quite, but I'm almost to a set it and forget it kind of relationship with Cortland Sutton. I really dig him.
He's coming on strong, man. He's starting to look like the guy pre the ACL injury. Yeah, yep. He's starting to look like that. And
here's what I'm going to say: Jerry Jeudy coming back is only going to help him because right now he's being double teamed and they're sending him the ball. Jerry Jeudy comes back, they're going to spread that out a little bit. You still got Patrick. Oh, yeah, it's going to be nice. Oh, it's going to be nice here. And I will say this, Teddy Bridgewater, sleeper. Don't sleep on that guy. Once he's got a full array of receivers, they're not running the ball very well. He's going to continue to throw it even more. I think he'll start unloading. So,
good call, good call. Tony had a defense for his hero because I don't think he had a great week, but he took the Baltimore Ravens D, and they did come through. They were stout. Good. They had a good game, so I can see him taking them as the hero. Yep. My hero, come on, man, CD Bam. He gets 9 catches for 149 and 2 touchdowns, including that walk-off winner. He waves to the cornerback goodbye after that guy shoves him out of bounds after he already scored a touchdown. I mean, if he had a mic, he'd have just dropped it. That was like super awesome. And the funny thing is, I was talking to Royce through text while the game was going on, and I was saying, man, it would be pretty epic if Dak hit CeeDee Lamb here for the win so that I get all those points and Royce's pick would come through because he had Dallas plus 3. So he needed that touchdown, and it happened. That was amazing.
That was nice. That did help me in my league. I have Dak CD stack in one of my leagues.
Oh,
it was nice.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, I killed my league.
All right, let's move on to some zeros. John, and you have a running back that came up small for you. Who was it?
I'm trying to think of who I sent you because I had a bunch of running backs that came up small.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's right. Miami. I have a theory. I believe that Coach Flores plays fantasy football. And I believe that whenever his team plays somebody with Gaskin on, he doesn't play Gaskin. Because that's the only earthly reason I can see you would ever play Ahmed Plummer and Malcolm Brown in front of Gaskin. He's clearly more electric. He can catch the ball better. He's faster. He's tougher. He was terrible this week. He was absolutely terrible.
I agree, man. I'm not a fan of Gaskin, but honestly, he's the best running back on that team. I don't understand why they're not playing him. I mean, one week he catches 10 balls and, they play well, and the next week they come back in a similar game script and they barely use him. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Tony played Justin Herbert, and that was his 0 at quarterback. Justin Herbert, he did okay, but ultimately,
but for what Herbert should.
Yeah, and now he's not on target to hit my marks, so I'm a little upset with him. But I'm gonna hope that he comes back strong next week. So, actually, he's on bye, so he's not coming back strong.
He's not coming back strong this week. Yeah.
All right, my 0. I'm sick of this freaking guy. It's Ben Roethlisberger, 29 of 40 for 229, and yeah, he had a touchdown, but he had another fumble. He can't throw the ball downfield, and he couldn't get it to Claypool. I'm just sick of this guy. He's awful. Without their pretty good defense and Najee Harris, the Steelers would be crap because their quarterback play is just not cutting it.
I agree.
All right, John, you had a wide receiver 0.
Yeah, he's been in my heroes section a couple of times this year. Marquise Brown really, really let me down. And part of that was they just didn't throw that much. But 4 catches for 35 yards on 5 targets. That don't feed the bulldog. So 7 points total.
Did he go back to Florida?
I don't know where the hell he went. But he's back in Hollywood, Florida, instead of California. Yeah, it's bad. So he's had 2 stinkers now out of 6 games. So I mean, I can't get too upset with him, but this was not your week, Marquise. It was. I'm not even gonna call you Hollywood until you get back to your winning ways. All right, you're Marquise. In fact, you're Marquis. That's how mad I am at you right now.
Not even pronouncing his name right.
Nope, not pronouncing it. I won't do it.
All right, Tony had the Irishman out in Washington. That's the name that you love to say at wide receiver. Fucking McLaurin came up. Yeah, Terry McLaurin. And he was texting me throughout the game. He's like, "Did Terry McLaurin die or what?" And I was like, "He'll get his. It's the Chiefs." And he just did. He didn't get his. I mean, what are you going to do? All right, and then obviously I had another 0, and it's not his fault, but Big Ben sucks, and that's Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool had 1 catch. He didn't do anything. I mean, every time Big Ben goes back to pass, he's looking to throw it short, and that's not good for Chase Claypool. I don't know what else to say.
Chase made drool. You're welcome.
Yeah, he made me drool, that's for sure.
And not in
All
a
right.
good way.
Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
The panic button.
Panic button. This is the game. Let me tell you, if these guys, we have 8 guys here we're going to talk about. Are we panicking on them? Are we ready to hit that panic button? Or are we still chilling? Let's find out. John, Christian McCaffrey at running back. He re-injured his quad before the games were played, and they put him back on the IR. It's feeling more and more like last season where you thought he would come back and he just kept getting re-injured. And what do you think? Is this guy, or can we say he's injury prone? Is it a lost season? Are you panicking?
I'm panicking. I think it's a pretty lost season.
Hit that button, Johnny. Hit that button.
I think he's listen, it's exactly like last season, right? He was going to come back. He's going to come back. Oh, he's practicing. He might not get this. Well, we're going to wait till next week. Gets into another practice, aggravates it again, goes back on IR. So 3 weeks. I think it'll be more like 5 weeks. I think they're going to shut him down. He shuts himself down. So now he's going to panic now that he re-injured it again. And I think he'll shut himself down. If we see Christian McCaffrey again this year, it'll be the last 2 or 3 games. And that's only if they're in the playoff run.
And that's why you panic. It's not because like he might be done for the year or not. I mean, he's going to play again. The problem is you drafted him the #1 overall pick. You're not going to get anywhere close to value in Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, time to panic. All right, John, this one's apropos for you. Myles Gaskin, running back 25, disappeared from the run game. He's highly dependent on the passing game, which they did, and he still didn't get catches. What the hell's going on? Are we panicking?
Yeah, I'm panicking. I'm panicking because they're Nope. I'm not going to drop him because there's nobody else to pick up. So it's not like I'm going to go get somebody else on the waiver wire. But gosh, I mean, I'm starting him in a couple of leagues where I need a bye week fill-in just because of injuries and stuff. And I already know I'm not going to get many points. Any point now from Gaskin is a bonus. His coach and the offensive coordinator clearly do not know how to manage an offense. And so I don't think Tua is the answer at quarterback. I know Jacoby Brissett was not the answer. I think next year when they've got the little fella out of Houston as their quarterback, I think then perhaps you'll see Gaskin and Gesicki live up to their hype.
I agree. There's nothing more to add there. If I had him, it depends on what other running backs I had, but he's a possible drop candidate for me. You can't trust him to play him. He's unstartable. Yep. Antonio Gibson left the game early due to the injured shin. Appears like this is a lingering situation. Are we hitting the panic button?
Yeah, I had a fracture in my shin. So when I played football and ran track, I had a fracture in my shin. And it becomes a reoccurring thing. So once you fracture it once, you fracture it again. And then, you get shin splints around it, and then you start to favor that, and then you get other leg injuries. I panic, and it's sad because I think he's super talented. That shin injury is going to stay with him, and it's going to be something that reoccurs.
3 panics in a row. Wow. Wow. All right.
Pounding the panic button. How about you? You panicking on him?
Absolutely. I panicked on him when I saw that he wasn't going to be getting the passing down work, and I saw McKissick blow up, and it's not there for him. If you picked him early in the second round, he's not gonna pay off in value.
Nope.
And now that he's injured, hell yeah, I'm panicking. Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Javonte Williams, running back 33. The fantasy rooster appears to be cock blocking yet again, rendering him basically unstartable. I know you didn't spend like high draft capital to get Javonte, maybe 6th round, 5th round, something like that. But man, can you start him? No. Sorry, you panicked.
It depends. Do you love 8 points a game from your running back?
Right.
Because if you do, that's what he's going to get you every week. He'll get you 6 to 8 points and a case of blue balls. That's what you're going to get with Javonte. If he was a full-time starter, that dude would be great. He really would. And he's that kind of running back that gets better as he gets more carries, and they don't give him that opportunity. So it's a shame. Gordon should just go. That guy's never going to be what he wants.
Go away.
It's complete split too. It's like literally down the middle.
50-50.
Yep.
I'm not panicking on Javonte yet because I'm still hoping that as the season wears on and the Broncos fade further from the playoff race, they'll stop giving like Gordon 50% of the
Yeah.
carry, and they'll let Javonte see what they got in Javonte Williams. So
Let's hope you're right, man.
Yeah.
I agree with that a little bit. I have friends with him, and I keep saying, don't drop him. Don't drop him. Just hang
don't drop
on.
him. Yeah.
But it is getting harder to say that every week, right?
It
Like
is.
3 weeks ago, I'm like, oh, don't drop him. This dude's going to go off. Week 5, week 6, nope, not so far.
Maybe in a 10-team league, you could drop him. Maybe not in a 12-team
Yeah.
league. No way.
No.
All right. Chase Claypool, wide receiver, 41. The big hen can't throw the ball down the field. Hell yeah, I'm panicking. I don't know what else to do. I thought when Juju was gone, it would force him to look Chase Claypool's way. He doesn't. I mean, I'm completely panicked. I'm not going to drop him because I did spend maybe a 4th-round pick on him, maybe 5th. I can't remember. But I'm not going to drop him, but I am panicked. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm panicked with you, and I don't think they're using him right. Like, that guy's got such size. Let's put him in the slot right now. I know he's got speed, so they want to send him down. I think he's got a good enough size to go in the slot, and I think he can run after the catch, and that's what they're not getting from their receivers. Deontay's pretty good, but Juju wasn't giving him that run after, and they're just not throwing it downfield enough because Ben can't throw downfield. So let's adjust our receivers to run the right routes.
Can the man get like a little screen pass, a bubble screen or something? Like get the ball in his hands. He scored 4 touchdowns in one game last year. The man can run after the catch. Like get him the freaking ball. Yep. Good Lord. All right. T. Higgins. Now he's been injured, so he's coming back from that. Wide receiver 62. Everything downfield, though, appears to go to Chase and Chase only. Like every time they go deep. T. Higgins isn't even getting like the intermediate routes in the middle of the field.
No, they're actually going to Tyler Boyd, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
the possession runs go to Tyler. I think you do have to panic on T.
Panic, man.
I think you hit him. I think you hit it. Jamar Chase is just unbelievable. He's everything. We were all doubters a little bit in the beginning, and I'm not a doubter anymore. I'm right there with those people. That dude can catch, and he can block. Did you see the pancake block he put out there?
Sure did.
Oh God, that's a receiver that's going to get rewarded with more points and just literally gained the entire respect of that locker room if he didn't have it already from his abilities. That you go down there and you make a block like that, yeah, yes sir, you're now that's a team captain next year.
I give him a dap for that. That was dope.
Yep.
All right, this next guy, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not panicking on this guy because I have 0 shares of him, and we told you we've seen this movie before, but it's Tyler Lockett, wide receiver 13. But he's first of all, he was starting to fade already after his monster couple games he had. He was already starting to fade, but now he's getting Geno'd on top of that, and Geno likes Mr. Metcalf a little bit more than Tyler Lockett. So Lockett's Now, are you panicking?
Like you said, I mean, I don't panic on him because I was never high on him in the first place. I already knew this was going to be the story. Whoever the quarterback was, Geno just solidified it, right? So what you can't now count on is that every now and then game that Lockett does, right? So Lockett will give you a great one in the first week, a good one in the second week, fade for 3 weeks, then occasionally pop back up week 6, and then he'll pop back up in week 10 and just tease you enough to keep it. When you got Geno as your quarterback, I don't think he's teasing anybody. He's not doing that. So I'd drop it. To me, he's not even a keep candidate. I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd drop him, but man, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
There's more talented receivers out there. Get rid of him.
Okay.
Be a little drastic. I might bench him and just see what he does. But
now this next guy is interesting. It's Mike Williams, wide receiver 4. So he's still a top 5 wide receiver. But now he's had his second stinker in the last 3 weeks, and he fell on his ass again and hurt his coccyx, like we always see him do every season. So it seems to be a reoccurring thing, like theme from the last 2 seasons. He makes an unbelievable effort, falls on his ass, hurts himself. Now he's a little banged up. Are we hitting the panic button on Mike Williams yet?
No, because I do think some things have changed this year. I think he's gone away from the one good game every 3 games and stuff. I think he showed us enough that he could be good in stretches. I do hate the injury bug, and I was worried about that with him in the beginning because it does seem like for such a big guy, he does get hurt a lot. But I certainly hold on to him. I don't panic. I check the injury reports and I make sure I don't play him when he's injured, but I'm not panicking on him yet.
Okay, good. I'm not panicking. No, I think he'll be fine, but you got to monitor the injury report. That's it. And if you see him go down, just be prepared to have someone to put in his place. That's all I'm saying. But he's still a beast. He's in a good role. He's in the Michael Thomas role. So no panic. No panic.
And by the way, the last game, can't blame him. Herbert was terrible. Defense was smothering. You can't blame him on that. The game in week 4 was a little bothersome. But again, it was a tough defense. I think he'll be fine. He's got a bye to rest his coccyx. So hopefully his coccyx will heal. And he'll be back in week 8.
All right.
Crypto Fantasy by Bitcoin.
One of my favorite subjects is Bitcoin, and we're going to do a little crypto fantasy today. We're going to buy low on certain players that have underperformed. We're going to sell high on other guys that have maybe, in our opinion, overperformed. And we're going to get it started right now. Since Bitcoin is exploding today, I might add, and it's at an all-time high. Let's start with you, John. You're going to buy low on someone that's underperformed so far at running back. Who is it?
He's underperformed, and I have not been high on this guy this year. I've not been high on this guy. Miles Sanders, Philadelphia. Here's why. Every time he does touch the ball, he actually looks really good. He's electric. He hits a hole hard, runs through it. He'll catch a pass or two. The problem is they're not using it. But the Philadelphia fans are starting to go nuts. And I think that offensive coordinator is either going to get replaced or they're going to go, hey, fella, let's let the head coach call some plays and let's see what we can do. I think buy him low now because nobody thinks he's going to be any good. He's been terrible. You can get him for a song, and then he might help you in the playoffs down the stretch.
Heard it here first. Go out there and trade for Miles Sanders.
Yep.
All right, I got a guy. Definitely underperformed, and that's Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's wide receiver 51. I'm going to buy low on him. The targets have been there. He just hasn't gotten that 100-yard game, and he only has 1 TD so far. But the TDs and long catches, they're coming. It's called regression towards the mean. So I expect things to start cooking. Now that Kyle Pitts is emerging as that stud tight end we all thought he would be, he's starting to draw a little bit more double team and attention in the middle of the field. That's going to open up the outside for Ridley. This man is a top 10 wide receiver right now, and he's not even in the top 50. Come on, man. What do you think he needs to do to get up back into the top 10? He's going to go off. It's coming.
So I got 2 things. One, I think I've got a new name for you, and I think it's going to be Dr. Fantasy, because you've now slipped 2 medical terms and a mathematics equation on me in one show. So Dr. Fantasy is going to be my new name for you.
All right.
Second of all, in our league, I own Calvin Ridley, and don't try to buy him because I'm keeping that.
Okay.
But yes, I fully agree with you. If you're in a league, try to find the fool that owns Calvin Ridley who's super frustrated, because what we saw the last time Atlanta was on the field is they're starting to figure out that offense. And when he comes back, he's going to be a giant part of that offense. I am completely with you, Chuckster.
All right.
Dr. Fantasy.
Dr. Fantasy it is. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Okay. Let's sell high on some guys, John. We bought low. Now these guys are super good, but
you give me yours first.
You want me to go first? All right.
I want you to go first this time.
All right, no problem. I got quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cousins was having a very mediocre game on Sunday until things got crazy late, and he sent the game into overtime with the 30-second drive to kick the field goal, and then they got the ball first and just drove down, and he got a TD pass. And so his numbers got super inflated, and it popped him back into the top 10. He's quarterback 8. Truth be told, the Vikings usually like to pound the ball with Dalvin Cook, and that's what they were doing last week, and I think that's going to continue. And I expect game scripts to dictate more mediocre games from Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to fade a little bit and finish as a quarterback 2, so maybe like 13, 14, somewhere in there. So What does that tell you? If he's 8 now, he's going to slide a little bit. His schedule gets tough too. So
Agree. Anybody he plays in the NFC Central, or NFC North, NFC Central. Gosh, yeah, that's a tough one. My fantasy. So here's my caveat. There's not a lot of good tight ends out there.
no,
I think we can agree with that. There's not a lot of good tight ends. If you are lucky enough to have this guy and another serviceable tight end, then I think you could get a lot for him, and that's why I'm saying sell high. It's Gesicki from Miami. He's had 3 good games and 3 terrible games, right? Including one where he got 0. But he just had a really good game. He looked fantastic. Looks like Tua's, kind of starting to go for him. But again, that offense is so inconsistent that if you're counting on Gesicki to win you a fantasy title, your team's probably desperate. But if you need you got a serviceable tight end and you need a piece, Gesicki might be able to get you a piece crypto-wise that can maybe send you over the top.
Okay. Yeah, I could go for that. Gesicki's been hot. Yeah, another good week.
Gets a lot of targets now.
Now's the time, right? Now's the time.
Yep.
All right.
Week 7 matchups.
Enough of week 6. Moving on to week 7. Man, we're in week 7 already, John. You believe this?
Week 7, dude.
Wow, third of the season gone already. All right.
I know.
This is Bimageddon, they're calling it. We got Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Chargers, and Jacksonville all on a bye this week, which I think is stupid.
What was the schedule maker thinking?
Yeah.
Why
do we need to have
good teams off?
6 teams and 5 of them being great, all on bye at the same time? You got to be kidding me. Anyhow, here are some matchups that we like.
Let's do it.
Start the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. I think this is the game of the week. These defenses struggle. The Chiefs are favored by 5.5. The over-under is 56.5. Holy shit. John, what are we looking for in this game?
Take the over. I think this is going to be a game. I think Henry runs his butt off again. But here's what I really liked, and I know you did too, because we were texting about this. A.J. Brown started to look like A.J. Brown again. Tannehill in that second half was almost brilliant. Especially in that fourth quarter, he was surgical in the way he was picking apart that defense. I am 100% on board with the Titans actually beating the Chiefs this week. If Fantasy Rolls Royce was here, I would find out what the points were. I'd take the points, and then I would go with the Titans. I like them better.
Now, RPO is starting to cook in Tennessee because they're so fearful of Henry. He was doing the Olay fake, hitting Brown on that slant across the middle. That is dangerous. And AJ did it all in the second half. He had, 7 catches for 90 yards all in the second half? I mean,
all in the second half. He had 1 catch in the first half.
It's coming. AJ, that's another buy low candidate, guys. I mean, I know it's tough after what people saw in the second half. They're not probably going to want to trade him. But, man, now's the time to get A.J. Brown.
And again, just like Arthur Smith left, so they had to get a new offensive coordinator, I felt like yesterday was the first time, because I live in Tennessee, so I watched the Titans a lot. And I felt like that was the first time, especially the second half, where I went, oh, that's a complete offense. Like there's a plan to it. It feels like, okay, they're going to use the run and then they're going to pass off of it. And Tannehill looked like he knew what he was doing again. He looked like the Tannehill we all thought was going to be the sleeper guy in the beginning. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with them.
Now on the Chiefs side of the ball, Josh Gordon didn't catch a pass. I don't even think he got a target. Is he done? Do we need to just drop him and not worry about him?
I'd give him a couple more weeks, right? Let's see. I mean, he hadn't played football for a while, so let's let him get back into football shape. Let's let him learn the offense. If they had another really good number 2 wide receiver, I'd go, yeah, you could probably drop Gordon. They don't. Pringle's not the answer. Mikola. It's not the answer.
Robinson's not the answer.
Robinson's a good possession receiver. He'll give you those little catches every now and then. Gordon should and could help you down the stretch, and I would not drop Gordon yet. I would wait and just see what it is. I'm not saying he's going to. That is not a Johnny Ballgame gut feeling. but I'm saying he could. It's not impossible, and it's not like he doesn't have the opportunity if he gets himself back in shape and is mentally there.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was Patrick Mahomes is turning the ball over a little bit, kind of carelessly. Like he only had
Getting cute.
6 picks last year. I think he's got 7 or 8 already this year in 6 games, which is nuts. A couple of them haven't been his fault. They've been tipped or drop passes by his receivers.
Right through his hands, yeah.
Yeah, like Tyreek Hill should have caught the ball and it bounced and got picked. But still, he is being a little careless with the ball. I've seen him throw some terrible passes, like in dangerous situations, especially against Buffalo. Are we concerned about the Chiefs, even though they won the game? Are we starting to get concerned?
Yes, I am. And they're not the juggernaut they were, right? So people who drafted those fantasy players are going, shit, I kind of thought I was going to get a little bit more out of that. Like what's Mahomes quarterback?
He's second. He's second.
All right. So that's still okay because he's still getting the volume, but name me another player that's really doing that fantastic. I mean, Tyreek's not having a great year. He's having an every other game kind of year.
But he's still number 1.
That's
He's
insane.
the wide receiver 1.
God, is he really?
Yeah, because when he goes off, he goes off. I mean, he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right, aren't you?
Yep. I just checked these earlier today, so.
But again, you go with like, you're right. So he's at a 56 and a 65 in there. He's also at a 6, a 9, and a 15, right? So
exactly, he's hit or miss. Yep.
He's starting to remind me a little bit of Lockett, only a better than Lockett, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Boomer bust. Yep.
Yeah. So I am worried about the Chiefs. I feel like Mahomes is pushing a little bit more because I feel like he's worried about the Chiefs. And so I think he's taking more chances because he feels like he's got to do more. Maybe when Gordon finally learns the offense. Maybe.
I think it's the defense. It puts a lot of pressure on Mahomes because the defense can't stop anybody to save their lives. So the backfield, I thought Williams played good. I think he looks as good or better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that could be a problem going forward. They might be splitting carries, guys. Careful there. All right, next matchup, Cincinnati Bungholes, your Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. The reason why I like this game is because this is for first place. The Bengals are 4-2. The Ravens are 5-1. If the Bengals win this game, they're in first place, guys. Ravens are favored by 6 in a low-scoring 47 over/under. What do you think about this game?
I think it's going to be higher scoring than that. I would take the over. I would go over that. I like this game for a lot of reasons. I think it's not going to be a defensive battle. I think both defenses are pretty good. They're not the defenses that you would want them to be, especially the Ravens. I mean, it came up big last week, but they've also got more injuries. By the way, that is the thing about the Titans, Chiefs. Was it Titans and
Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs. All their defensive backs are depleted, so I do think that game's going to be a shootout.
Yep.
This game, I like Jamar Chase. I think they're going to start taking shots down the field. I think they get Uzuma back involved in the middle of the field. Tyler Boyd, I think, could have a really nice game here. And then on the Ravens side, I think you'll see passer Lamar as opposed to runner Lamar, just because I think that front line's pretty good of the Bengals defense. But passer Lamar has proved he can be pretty damn dangerous too. And so
we're going to see some Lamar action?
I think we're going to see some Lamar action. I think we're going to see some Marquise action again. I think that rookie gets involved this week. And I think you're going to see. I actually think my gut feeling is Lamar's going to be the number 1 quarterback this week.
And who do you want out of that Ravens backfield right now? Who's the guy that you think will get the bulk of the carries? Because
we talked about Lamar or Murray hurting his ankle, but they might not be that worried about it because they put Bell back on the practice squad. So it's not like Le'Veon's going to be the dude. They just designated him again for practice squad.
But they appear to have activated Tyson Williams.
That's who I think is going to be the main runner. I think they're going to finally give that kid a chance. I picked him up in a league. I thought, why not take a flyer on this kid? It's not going to be who's the Devontae Freeman. He's more suited to be a pass catching back, and maybe they'll use him in passing situations. The whole backfield's a mess, though, and if you're starting anybody from the Ravens, it's probably because you're desperate and it's so much of a buy. It's the buy Mageddon. So, yeah. But Tyson or Freeman are the two to to use out of that, and that's not telling you much.
I agree. All right. The Chicago Bears, your favorite team, at the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Buccaneers are favored by 12.5 points. Over-under is 47. First of all, I think Tom Brady's going to get 47 from the Bucks. Let's take the over. And 12.5.
Bears defense is a little bit better than people think.
Yeah.
I think the 12.5 is a bunch. I might actually take the Bears and the points on this. 12.5 is a lot of points. And that defense is better. They might hit the over because the over under is pretty small. I feel like this is the week Fields starts to go downfield. I think because he's going to have to, right? Because Brady's going to be throwing it downfield. He's going to have to match. And, Robinson was open about 3 or 4 times last week where they could have hit him for some touchdowns. I think they'll look for that, and I think he'll look for it. And I actually look for Fields to be super competitive in this. I like him. I like Khalil Herbert. Montgomery's still not back. I really liked Khalil Herbert last week. The only issue is it Devin Williams, the running back that was on COVID? Darrell Williams. I always get those guys confused, but D. Williams for sure is back from COVID, so they might split those carries. So again, it's hard to really trust one or the other, but they really like that kid Khalil Herbert, and probably will want to see what he does.
He looked good. He looked real good until Montgomery comes back. Herbert basically, I think, cemented that job. Yeah. I'm excited. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What do you think about the Tampa side?
So Tampa's they're scary. They're scary good. They have 3 great receivers. Gronk's coming back soon. He might play this week. He might not. They have O.J. Howard. They have Cameron Brate. Tom Brady's on a mission. Man, they're good. Their defense is great.
Looks freaking great.
Leonard Fournette. I have a nickname for him. I'm gonna save it for the appropriate time, maybe next week. But they look good. They're playing. They're going on all cylinders right now. So I like what I see from them. I think if Antonio Brown wasn't behind Godwin and Evans, if he was like the number 2 receiver instead of being the 3rd guy, I think he would lead the league in points. He looks like old Antonio Brown. He looks great. So
he's the leading receiver on the Buccaneers, so he kind of is the number
so far.
1, right?
Imagine what he'd do if he got more snaps.
Yeah. I hate that Godwin's not getting more play because I think he's a really talented wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's just very average numbers this year because they're spreading the ball around so much. And Tommy is looking for Antonio way more than anybody else.
Yeah, he appears to be. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Indianapolis Colts at the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe not a great game. Both teams are under 500, but I thought it'd be interesting. The Niners are favored by 3.5 after the bye, and the over-under is 44. So Vegas is expecting a low-scoring game. I'm curious to see who runs at quarterback for San Francisco. It appears that it's going to be Garoppolo because what's his name isn't playing or isn't practicing right now. Help me out with Trey Lance. I'm a little worried about this because I have Debo, obviously. I want Trey Lance to be the quarterback because I think he throws it down the field, whereas Garoppolo is more the dink and dunk guy. But I went back and looked, and Debo's actually scored more points with Garoppolo than he did with Lance. So what do you think?
He's Garoppolo's security blanket, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like him better actually if Garoppolo plays than Trey Lance. Also, I dropped Ayuk in 2 of my leagues this week, so that makes it off. So
I was going to ask you about that. So Ayuk's gone. Ayuk back to the waiver.
I finally dropped him. There's no reason to keep him.
I want to see what he does after the bye. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe things have been corrected a little bit.
Yeah. So let me talk about the Colts on that side.
Go for it.
I think you're starting to see the Colts figure it out a little bit. I thought they played really well this week. I know they lost, but they lost in a tough one, and they played really well. And Jonathan Taylor, I was a little bit of a detractor of his. I like what I see from that kid. He's got burst. He's got toughness. What he's doing in the open field of actually eluding people, which he wasn't doing really last year. Last year he would hit a hole and he would burst until he got tackled. this year he's making people miss, and I think he is a bona fide RB1. And if you got him, you're lucky. That's because you likely drafted him in the second round, first round, and you're starting to get your ROI. You're starting to get your return on investment. So
nice return of investment. I like that.
Yeah. See, I'll go business side. You go doctor side.
You go realtor. You're a realtor. I'll be the doctor.
Yeah. I like the quarterback. I think he's starting to play pretty good, actually. He's starting to look like he did before, right? Before he got hurt, Carson Wentz. And they lost, was it Pascal?
Yeah. No. Well, no. They lost Paris Campbell.
So they lost Campbell, but T.Y. Hilton came back. Now he's got a little bit of a quad injury. But he looked pretty good. 4 catches, 80 yards in his first time back. I like their other receiver a lot. That guy's getting targets.
Zach Pascal?
Yeah. No, not Zach Pascal. God, where's my memory today?
Pittman.
Thank you. Michael Pittman. He's 31 wide receiver. He's another guy that kind of has some stinker games in there, but he's also had some plus 20 games this year. And he's definitely the number 1 receiver on that team. And I think T.Y. might actually help free him a little bit. So,
and we got Mo Cox this week.
We got Mo up your alley, Cox.
That's right.
Yeah. I liked him. He does cut. He's caught 3 touchdowns 3 weeks, or he's caught a touchdown 3 weeks in a row. So he's definitely on the tight end. You got to play him anyway because so many good people are off. He's definitely on the tight end, low end 1, high end tight end 2. But I like him this week too.
Okay.
Burning questions. Ouch, that's hot.
Okay. New segment. Burning questions. These are questions that I've been wondering in my head, and I want to know what you guys thought. Obviously, it's just going to be you today, John, but we'll hash this out. These are 4 burning questions from my mind. Let's start with the first one.
Fascinated by this.
All right. Going forward, if Kareem Hunt is out as long as we think he is, and Chubb misses a couple weeks, who do we want in that backfield for fantasy? Who's more valuable to you? Dearness Johnson or Demetric Felton, and why?
I think most people are going to say Dearness. I think it's Felton. He catches more passes, and he's more valuable in the passing game. As I mentioned in the very beginning of this, I love the PPR. I love running backs who catch the ball, and I think he's going to surprise people, and he'll be the one that scores more points. I don't think Dearness is your person.
I totally agree with you, and you stole my thunder. I thought for sure you were going to take Dearness Johnson because he's the default starter. But let me tell you something. Cleveland is going to struggle this week, and they're going to need to throw. And guess who's going to get those catches? Demetric Felton.
Yep.
He's the more superior athlete, I think. He's the quirkier guy. He can catch the ball. He's got speed, like burst. I like him better going forward for these next couple weeks while the other running backs are out. But once Chubb Hunt, once they come back, move on.
Yep.
All right. Next question. I've been thinking about this for weeks. I picked up Marlon Mack in as many leagues as I could just to stash because I'm pretty sure he's going to get traded. Hasn't happened yet, but the trade deadline's coming up in week 8. So they have like a week and a half to make this trade. Where do you think Marlon Mack ultimately ends up? And what situation is best for fantasy football?
Sneaky. But if Chubb's injury ends up getting worse, it's possible he ends up in Cleveland. Right?
Good call.
I also like him in San Francisco. I like him in Houston. Houston has 3 backs. None of them are good, right? None of those guys are doing anything.
And they love mediocre players, so.
But yeah, I mean, he might go there. So yeah, I think those are probably the 3 that are coming to mind. You got anybody else?
I thought of a few teams, the Chiefs being one of them, but Darrell Williams actually looked decent. Maybe they don't need to go there. I thought I thought of the Baltimore Ravens because they just have a slew of veteran backs that are all slow and old, and perhaps Marlon Mack still has a little bit of burst left. They do like those veterans over there. And then I thought of the Browns. You had mentioned them earlier. I thought if this injury is a little more serious than we think, he'd be a perfect fit there, and he'd be good there. That would be the best scenario, I think, is Cleveland. Can't really think of – and the Niners. The Niners are a good fit, and he would be plug and play there as well. Are there any other teams that we're not thinking about that he could end up on that would be fantasy relevant?
Carolina.
The Panthers, if the McCaffrey thing continues to linger, yeah. I like that.
Because, I mean, they do have Chuba, but they're going to need somebody else, and that's a possibility.
I thought of one more. How about the Seattle Seahawks? Chris Carson might return, might not. He's got a neck injury. Now Alex, whatever his name is, Alex Collins is hurt.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of quality depth there. I think Marlon Mack would be a perfect fit.
They've got Homer. They've got DJ Dallas.
That's crap.
Good in little tiny spurts, but that's not a bad right there if those are going to be lingering injuries for a long time. If Carson's out for good, which we don't know that yet, but boy, it doesn't look good. So,
all right. Okay. My next burning question. This one's going to be fun. Who's the best fantasy quarterback in football moving forward? I already know who I like.
I like the same guy because I hate to admit this because I didn't believe in him.
You say his name, bitch. Say his name.
It's got to be Josh Allen.
I agree.
Gotta be. That guy is everything you want in a quarterback. He can go downfield. He can run. He can throw the intermediate. He's got a nice touch on screens. He's ballsy, so he's going to put the ball into places that other quarterbacks can't. He's got a cannon for an arm. Who's better? Who are you taking over him?
I mean, you could say Mahomes. You could say the other guy you don't like out in Arizona, Kyler Murray, or Dak.
I would take Dak as my second, by the way, and then P. Mahomes. Kyler Murray's way down on my list.
I just want to remind you that Kyler Murray had 4 more passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, 5 touchdowns again this week. The man is on fire. I think he's third. Yeah, he's third in fantasy football. Like I told you before, I think either Josh Allen or Kyler Murray is going to end up 1, and Mahomes will finish 2. So far, it's pretty close. But the guy that's number 1 has actually surprised me, but we'll talk about him later. All right. Okay, so you like Josh Allen. I'm totally in agreement. I'd have loved to hear what Tony thought and what Royce thinks. We'll get their opinion next week on this. All right. Okay, and last burning question. This one's interesting as well. Which fantasy player or players did you correctly hit on? Guys that you predicted would do well, and they did, and you look like a genius. And also, we're going to talk about which fantasy players we completely missed on. We whiffed. Let's start with the guys we hit on. What do you got?
I told you Zeke Elliott would be really good this year.
Yes.
And then I had some doubters in the first couple of weeks, and now I don't have doubters again. Zeke is doing fantastic. Thank you.
And I'm going to give you credit, John, because I almost jumped ship when I saw the Pollard thing where he was like getting all those catches in the first couple of weeks. I was a little nervous. But my God, Zeke Elliott has been fantastic. And I believe he caught 5 balls last week. And Pollard didn't do much. So, yeah.
He's running back number 4 right now.
He's running back 4 and on the way up.
And on the way up, he's only 4 behind Taylor, which, by the way.
That'll be a tough race.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Good call. I'll give you that. All right. I mean, we were just talking about him. I told you guys Josh Allen's the man. I mean, come on. Laser arm. He's accurate. He can throw on the run like nobody else. I've seen Mahomes do some crazy stuff, but nobody throws the ball better on the run and on target than Josh Allen. It's a freaking laser beam.
Laser beam.
The one he threw to Beasley last week was just more proof this guy has the best arm in football. He's smart now. He turns the ball over like infrequently. He did have a pick, but it was tip ball. He doesn't turn the ball over much. He doesn't fumble. He's ballsy. He'll jump head first to try to get a first down. I mean, what's not to like about Josh Allen? I nailed that one. All right. On to the second guy you nailed, John. Who do you got?
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, I said, going to be top 4 quarterback. Where's he at right now?
Top 4.
Do you want to tell everybody?
I believe he's 3rd or 4th.
I believe he's 3.
Yeah, he's probably 3.
He's 4. He's number 4.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I believed in him. I believed in him. And actually, I'm going to give you a bonus, unless you want me to go another round.
Go for it. Give me the bonus.
Lamar Jackson.
You did.
Doubted me on Lamar Jackson, too. He's number 7 on the quarterback lists. And
I totally doubted Lamar Jackson.
yes. Yeah.
Good job, Johnny.
Thanks, buddy. Who do you got?
I nailed Derrick Henry.
Yes, you did.
You guys were all predicting the downfall of Derrick Henry. Not you so much. You said
I was
he's
gonna say I did not. Yeah.
1,600 yards, but you didn't think he could repeat what he did last year. And I said, I don't know, man. This guy is so big. He's different. He's fast. He's like nothing we've ever seen. He could just do it all over again. And he is doing it all over again, but he's even better than last year because he's catching balls and getting more touchdowns. I mean, Jiminy Cricket. I mean, I'd like to say I nailed Derrick Henry, but honestly, I didn't even think he'd be this ridiculous. Not going to lie.
He even outscoring your expectations. That's
by far.
Put it this way. He's so good this year. He's in our league, our quarterbacks, much like Chuck said, do score the most. Mm-hmm. He is in the top 10 players, which is normally all quarterbacks. Derrick's right there. He's the number 1 running back by almost 100 points in our league. Like some crazy number.
All the media's like leagues, the normal standard leagues, Derrick Henry's the leading scorer in all those leagues. Yep. Any leagues like ours where the quarterback scores a lot, he's like in the top 10, which is amazing. That doesn't happen very often. Christian McCaffrey, maybe LaDainian Tomlinson, maybe Marshall Faulk, but it doesn't happen very, very frequently. So what he's doing is amazing. All right. We got to brag. Now let's take some shit. Let's talk about the guys we whiffed on. I'm gonna start because this.
You start.
I missed on the fantasy nerd Cooper Kupp. I completely disregarded this guy. I thought Robert Woods would be Stafford's guy. I thought Cooper Kupp would get injured and all that good stuff. And Cooper Kupp is proving me wrong so far. And he's like a top 3 wide receiver. So who on me? John, who you got?
I missed on this guy. I totally dissed him. I talked about him a little bit earlier. I dissed this guy. I thought he was not going to be very good. I thought people were way over drafting him. Jonathan Taylor, number 3 right now in the league. I didn't think he was going to be a top 10 running back. In fact, I would have been surprised if he was a top 15. I just was not sold on him. And I would like to formally apologize to Mr. Taylor and his representation and his family. That's how good he is.
I'm going to apologize to Austin Eckler. I'm going to call him Awesome Eckler because, look, I made a trade. Everyone knows I traded for Josh Allen and James Robinson, and I had to give up Eckler and Aaron Rodgers. And I thought I completely won the trade, but I really didn't. I mean, it's been good so far, but Austin Eckler has outperformed my wildest imagination. I thought he was a bad pick at the end of the second round. Turns out he's a top 3 running back right now, and I have to give him props. He's been a lot better than I thought. He's getting the touchdowns, the goal line carries, all the stuff I said he wouldn't get. So I was wrong about Austin Eckler. John, who you got?
This is a guy on the opposite end of the spectrum. I thought he was going to be fantastic. He's turned out to not be fantastic. Actually, I have about 3 I could say in this thing, but I'm going to stay. Actually, I'm going to go with a different one. I've talked about both the ones that I was thinking about doing. Brandon Ayuk. Brandon freaking Ayuk. Drafted him in the mid-rounds, almost a little higher than the mid-rounds in some cases. Really thought this guy was just going to pick up where he left off last year. Seemed so talented, so good. He's awful. He's awful. We dropped him in a 12-team league where we're starving for talent. He's a free agent right now. Brandon Ayuk.
I second that. I drafted Brandon Ayuk as much as I could in the 4th, 5th rounds. Thought I had a stud receiver. Turns out I had a dud receiver. He's garbage.
I feel like he should apologize to our family. That's how bad
I
he
do.
is.
I do. And this last one, the whole fantasy football island staff here and the FSI crew here, I'm apologizing on our behalf because we all missed the boat and we doubted the freaking GOAT yet again, Tom Brady. Yes, we like Tom Brady. We said he had the weapons, but we said he's not going to finish in the top 10. If he does, it'll be just barely because he does this every year and blah, 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 all the shit we said. And the GOAT is number 1 in all fantasy football at quarterback and in every league except, well, in all the leagues where the quarterbacks score. Tom Brady is the GOAT. I'm giving him his props. The man defies the odds. He's 45 years old, and he's leading fantasy football in points. What the hell, man? I apologize, Tom.
I would like to apologize to Giselle. We're very sorry for what we've said about your husband.
We emasculated Tom Brady.
We did.
And he's the best.
He is the GOAT. He is.
But you know what, John? If I had him on my team, he wouldn't be. He'd suck. Okay. Let me just tell you. I've had him.
So the rest of the fantasy world has you to thank for not drafting him.
Exactly. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So normally we'd finish with the roll with Royce Degenerate Gambler picks, but obviously he's not here. But I do want to make an announcement. Rolls Royce went 3-0 this week. Perfect score. Killed it. And now he's 8-5-1 on the season. And I was able to double down on his bets and get my Tesla back. So thank you, Royce. After you screwed me last week, you came through this week, buddy. And we look forward to next week when you return to make your picks. Now,
dude.
Before we close, I wanted to show you the little something I got here. See if you guys can see it. This is a little cup that I was given for the Guy Talk Network, and this is made by Young Bat Company. This is the hollowing of a bat that they made into a cup, and it's got my logo on it, and you can drink. I could put my microphone in it, but this is a possible sponsorship for our channel, our first one. So I just want to give them a shout out right here. If you guys want to order something cool like this, it doesn't have to be for a podcast. It could be for anything you can think of. But once again, it is the Young Bat Company, and I appreciate it. And to my friend that got me this, thank you so much. You're awesome. Appreciate you guys. Now,
that's really cool, man. That's got like implications outside of even sports. That's like corporate gifts, and they're always looking like for cool stuff like that. So make sure you go check them out. Do they have a website?
Yeah, I'll get the website and I'll put it in the description. It's the Young Bat Company. But again, guys, we want to thank you for hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell because we'll do this every week. We'll be back for week 8 next week. Oh my gosh, week 8, Johnny Ballgame. By the way, thank you, Johnny Ballgame, for sticking with us. The show must go on. We didn't have Royce. We didn't have Sir Poops a lot, but we did have Johnny Ballgame, and you came through big time, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for filling all that dead air, and you come with it with all the brilliant stuff, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Hey, Poop and Royce, we miss you, man. You guys get back here.
Definitely missed you. It's not the same. It's a little more quiet. We need you guys back next week. Don't miss next week, guys. Hit that notification bell because next week is the Halloween special, and you don't want to miss that one, guys. The Halloween special. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jack, man. Thanks for hosting as always.
Fantasy Reaper signing out. Aloha.
Peace.
Peace. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Buy some Bitcoin. Tune in next week for the Halloween edition of Fantasy Sports Island. Even Kenny Galladay will be there.